DJ?
No, it was before that, Stuart. It was probably when I was 8 or 9 years old. The kid across the street from me, he was several years older, played the accordion, but he was the guy that I just wanted to be like. And so we didn't have much money. My parents couldn't afford an accordion, but they said, we'll get you a guitar if you want. So that's what happened. We went down to Sears and Roebuck on Broad Street in Richmond, Virginia, bought a Gene Autry Melody Ranch, $13. But those if you can find one now that's in good shape, they're worth hundreds of dollars. Anyway, it's crazy. But anyway, and I learned how to play guitar when I was.
Now, what about the banjo?
Well, I heard Earl Scruggs when I was about 15 years old, and it made me crazy. Absolutely crazy. I thought, man, I have got to learn how to do that. So, it was a lot of persuasion. I convinced my dad into letting me buy a banjo, and it was $100, and I got it for my 16th birthday. It was $100 back then for an RB100, which is what it was. And of course, back then in those days, there were no videos, or this is 1954 I'm talking about. No videos or anything like any good instruction material especially for bluegrass banjo. There really wasn't any. There really weren't any instruction manuals. But anyway, what I would do, I had a little sun porch off of my bedroom, and I could sort of lock myself back in there, and nobody could hear what I was doing in the rest of the house. And I would take a 45 Flat and Scruggs tune, Flat and Scruggs record, and slow it down to 33, and play it, and of course, if the singing is but I could hear the notes that Earl was playing. I sort of figured it out, and I tuned the banjo all the way down. But one night, my dad came back there, and I was working on all that stuff, and he opened up the door, and he had the most disgusting look on his face, and his hands on his hips, and he said, "Son, buying you that banjo for your birthday last year was the biggest goddamn mistake I ever made." He said, "That thing is nothing but a cacophony of harsh and unpleasant sounds." I didn't know what cacophony meant at the time, but I knew it wasn't good by his tone of voice. But anyway, I kept working on it. And I caught on to let her play a couple songs.
That was your first review.
and not a good one.
Now, the band, which began in your house.
Yeah. We used to have Monday night picking sessions in my house. Mike Aldridge used to refer to it as our Monday night card meeting. And it was Mike and Dave Aldridge, John Starling, and Gary Henderson was the bass player. And this was probably in the late 60s, early 70s. And we lost John to Vietnam for John Starling. He got reassigned to Vietnam, but he came back in I think 71 and moved up the street from me. So we started Monday night stuff again, and
But strictly jam session.
yeah, just a jam session. We didn't want to go out and play in front of people. That made us nervous. But Mike and I while John was gone, Mike and I had played with Cliff Rawlin in New Shades of Grass. It was on the movie here. And but we had stopped playing at the end of the summer of 1971. We weren't doing anything, but we started on Monday jam sessions again. Cliff called me up right about then and asked me if we could put the basement band together to play at the Red Fox, because he wanted to go to the DJ convention in Nashville. So I said, sure, we'll do it, which we did. But I don't think we had Duffy certainly wasn't there that night. But that night, the place called the Rabbit's Foot called the Red Fox, and they were interested in starting bluegrass music in their place. It was a little rock and roll club across the Volvo dealership on Wisconsin Avenue. So I ended up taking the phone call. The guy told me what he wanted, and I said, yeah, we'll do it. He said, be in here the first Monday in November '71. So that's what we did. Well, we stayed there for about maybe 2 gigs. The second one, Monday Night Football, started happening at that time. And I think, I'm not sure, but I think the Redskins were on that night. Anyway, he wouldn't, he had a TV by the bartender, had a TV by the bandstand, which he let us turn the sound off of, but there was another TV on the bar, which he kept going at pretty good volume. We could hear it from the stage. A friend of ours asked him to turn it off on several occasions, and evidently he did it one time too many, because I remember seeing him getting taken out by the scruff of his neck by the goons. We ended up on the street. I ended up going out looking for this fella, and he was gone. So I stayed out and talked. Next thing I know, here comes Tom with his bass. Everybody walking out with their instruments. So we're quitting this place. It's a dump. So we, John Starling and I went up to the Red Fox, watched the game, drank a few beers, and got hired to come in and start playing at the Red Fox on the first Tuesday in 1972. And that's how it all got started. So there you go. So if I hadn't taken that phone call, who knows what we would have.
The name of the band?
No name at that point. I guess the summer of '72, when the word was coming that John Starling was coming back, and there was a rumor that had gotten started that we were going to have a band, and with John Duffy. And Charlie Waller who was a country gentleman's lead guitar player and great singer and all that stuff. Charlie heard about it, and he knew we all had day jobs and all that sort of stuff. So he said, well, those guys, they're busy. They might as well call themselves Seldom Seen. And Duffy got wind of that. And after we started playing at the Red Fox, we didn't have a name for about 6 weeks. Finally, one night, we finished a song, and he said, well, you didn't like that with the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. If you did, with Seldom Seen. So that's how it all got started. We had no